How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another Bitcoin update, and we're currently seeing BTC breaking out of this falling wedge. What I must remind you, even though this is a bullish pattern and we're currently breaking out of the highest level of resistance, must remind you that it is Friday, the stock market shuts, and usually in the past when we've seen pumps on Friday, the weekend and the opening of the new week has been bearish. So let's look for upcoming potential resistances, and we need to look at completed dumps. Let's look at the most recent dump over here. It does extend a little bit, but it's been broken into pieces because we can see an initial move down followed by a move back up and then another lower high. So we'll go off the lower high first, and we can see that it's telling us between 89 and 90.7k is a very key level of resistance. When I adjust this to the next high, it kind of extends this all the way to 92.7k. So what I will do is then drag it and look to the left to see if the structure is giving us clues. And we can quite clearly see that over here on the left, this previous resistance was then flipped into support where a lot of leverage longs were placed. And as we were coming down, I was suggesting that it was most likely going to lose this to liquidate all those longs. When we've had this bounce back up into that location, it's just confirmed it as resistance. So going forward, I need to see that exact area, between 89 to 92.7k. That is what I need to see broken, and then it would start a further move up. So on this flipping back into support, longs can be placed, of course. You can attempt to long up into here, but the risk is that it is the weekend, so it could end up as a fake out. And it could still be a fake out pumping up into this area, as it could just test it as resistance once again. If we're not seeing the structure of the previous highs broken, then although this is a resistance that needs to be flipped back into support to flip this market bullish again, previously we've just seen it respected as resistance. So pumping up into there doesn't necessarily mean it's 100% a guarantee it's the bottom, guys. Can still roll over once again, come back into this key area from there, for example, and then the hope is that it forms somewhat of an inverse head and shoulders to get out of here, even in the case where it rejects. But I just want everyone to be cautious over the next week or so. If we do get this extended move up into 89 to 92.7k, just understand that is an upcoming resistance. But by breaking that, we can see the targets, which takes us back to the previous all-time high, another key area being between 100 to 105. And this is quite interesting because it's the level of resistance that I've said my bias remains bearish while under here. I've shown examples through the last year in this area where Bitcoin, let me just try and find it for you right here. I've shown multiple examples here in the past where you can see it's pumped all the way up to the 886 fib and still went to a new low. Once again, pumped up to the 886 fib, went to a new lower low. We'll go off of this completed move down, pumped to the 886 fib, went to a new low. Eventually, the structure changed once the 886 broke, flipped it into support, and you can see it went ahead and met the targets. So that's the all-important level for Bitcoin. Let's just call it 105k and round it up because it's only, $16 away from 105. So round it up to 105. We've also got the 1474 fib anyways, that's 105. Okay, so ultimately that needs to break. Otherwise there could be a situation like what happened last year, happened a good few times, where I went to new lows after pumping up into there. Now that also means it doesn't have to go that high to keep going down to new lows. That's where the true trend shifts. So although we have this bullish pattern currently, it's not like we didn't have this bullish pattern before. There was a falling wedge over here. It chose not to break out. Either way, it had of course, a golden pocket. You can see up there, it was a little bit high, 105 to 107, failing to break that. Even with the bullish pattern, it continues low. So it's the same thing here. The pattern's target could be argued that it's only between 95 and 100k, these two highs. So you could argue that that is the target out of the pattern. However, what I would say is if we start seeing 89 to 92.7 broken, that will initiate a move up into there. So a tradable moment. You can see it was previously the range low, and every time it pumped from here, got back up into that range high. So there is a tradable moment between these two areas for some leverage longs or just to DCA or whatever. But from down over here, just because it's the weekend, I'm a bit thrown off by this myself personally. We've also got upcoming bearish crosses forming, so it kind of makes sense that it's giving an attempt. We've also got the 20 and the 200 almost bearish crossing, so you want to see an EMA repel. That only comes with the pump through this area, and then you'd need it to come back down and hold. So that's like what we were saying earlier in the video. Even if we reject this location, it's not necessarily end of the world if it can hold 83 to 85 and form somewhat of an inverse head and shoulders. From there, need to recover this 89, 92.7k level, and then there is that tradable opportunity. So I'll actually going to leave this like that for the upcoming updates, so you know that once that level is broken, it should actually start a move up into there. So that's it from me today. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. Be cautious over the weekend. We've got the 200 EMA upcoming. It's Friday. Stock market shuts low volume over the weekend. Also got this death cross forming between the 100 and the 55 moving average in that key level of resistance, which I think will just hold, unfortunately. If I start seeing it actually reclaimed, then it should pump up into there. Until then, until I see it reclaimed, my assumption right now, my bias remains that a move up into there is just bearish. It will come down. It will be given one last chance to bounce from here and do something like that. But highly likely that it could just lower high and start going lower once again. That is it from me today. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. If you want to get educated, use the links in the description. I'll see you over there in the Discord.